Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna Hare
Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Shishin Tai Sachi Sutta ki jai. Saki Jagannath Baladev Subhadra ki jai. Radha Parisisvara ki jai. Ki Chaitanya Charitamrita ki jai. Ki Jagannath Ratha Yatra ki jai. Gaura Premanande. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Shri Guru Granga. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Desai Vikale. Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamniti Name. Namaste Saraswati Svam Gaura Hani Vichani. Namaste Sasimadi Kunstichari Shaitanya. Jai Prabhupada. Are you reading from anywhere specific?
Yes, now
Well, the
Madhya
pages, as I
Lila.
was singing, the pages started moving, I think.
Oh,
They flipped over.
Madhya Lila 13, 19.
19?
19.
Okay, I was on the right page. I see, yeah, it was on this page. Instead of like this. Jai Jai Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda.
Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda
Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda.
Jaya Shri Chaitanya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda.
Is it on the board or not?
No, where is the computer?
I'll just read it. Don't worry. Well, don't worry about it. I'm not gonna.
Oh, it's here.
Ratara Sajani Deki Loke Chamatkar Navaheman Maya Vaka Sumera Akar. Translation. Everyone was astonished. Everyone's astonished to see the decorations on the Rath car. The car appeared to be newly made of gold, and it was as high as Mount Samaru. Is this actually the verse you're reading next? This is supposed to be today's verse? Text 19?
Yes, 18, 19. Yesterday we finished with 18, no? With the date, yeah? So what was it?
I finished. It was
No,
Ratha Parudra.
Yeah, Prataparudra before was clean.
Upon seeing the king engaged in menial service, is that the one?
Yeah.
You did that one.
Yeah.
You did that one. So today is 19. I thought maybe you chose it because I was here. Okay, very special verse. Purport. In the year 1973, there was a gorgeous Ratha Yatra in London. And the car was brought to Trafalgar Square. Are we allowed to mention that here in France? You know what happened, don't you? Trafalgar Square, the Battle of Trafalgar.
Yeah.
What happened there? That's when Napoleon got defeated.
Yeah.
And right there in Trafalgar Square, there's a big statue of the British, the head of the British military, Nelson.
So we have to change the verse.
And he's looking south towards France, you know. It's like rivalry there. The London newspaper, The Guardian, published a front page photo caption. Fact. ISKCON Ratha Yatra is rival. Another rival, not just your Napoleon, but another rival rival to Nelson Column in Trafalgar Square. And Prabhupada's writing this in the purport. Isn't that amazing? The Nelson Column is a very impressive statue of Lord Nelson and can be seen from a good distance, just as the residents of Puri compared the Rathkar to Mount Samaru. The residents of London considered the car a rival to Nelson Monument. Prabhupada turns it like that. It's like the residents of London. It was a newspaper reporter who wrote that. But Prabhupada took it as being the residents of London. It was a big festival. Very, very big. Now you may need a translation into French.
Est-ce que vous avez une traduction française?
Merci. J'avais la traduction directe.
What is that? Magic translator?
Yes.
As I speak, it translates.
Au fur et à mesure qu'il traduit, qu'il parle, ça
Oui,
traduit.
oui, automatiquement.
Really? Wow. AI. This is AI technology, is it?
Yes.
As it speaks, it translates. Amazing. Wow. I'll speak slowly and clearly. Well, it's amazing. It was an incredible festival. I mean, the arrangements were made for these festivals, just like you're doing here for the Rath Yatra festival. We have a small crew and overloaded, what have you, but so many things to do. Months of preparation. Not many of us have. Any of you been to Jagannath Puri for the Rath Yatra day, the actual festival? Who said that? I heard a sound coming from behind. Was that Lord Jagannath? Lord Jagannath said, yes, I've been there. You've been there, Krishna Kripa?
Yeah, 2006.
2006, so you got a good memory. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. So, yes, I've not been, I was there just before, maybe a month before the festival. And they were, everything was getting ready, but it was like massive arrangements going on. Even as the silk ropes, which you may have heard about, or we'll hear about tomorrow or next week, or I don't know whenever. So much arrangement made to make the silk ropes, to tie around Lord Jagannath. We got one, didn't we, last year, Jivananda? I think we were in Puri last year, and somehow we got some. One of the temples we went to, they gave us some of that silk rope, which they used to tie around the Lord. And it's just so. I mean, the whole town is out, not that everyone. It's like everything's focused. So maybe years ahead they're preparing. No, it's a year ahead. So that months and months ahead they're preparing. And the same probably here. In most places. Sunday is also Leicester Rath Yatra. I just came from Leicester yesterday. There's Rath Yatra on Sunday there also. Many places, same day. It's so wonderful to see. But in this London Rath Yatra 1973, it was an amazing arrangement. And probably one of the most famous Rath Yatras in ISKCON's history. Shyamasundar Prabhu, tomorrow or the day after, Mahavishnu Swami is coming. You know Mahavishnu Swami, the Kirtan, Harinam, Ruchi, Jivananda Prabhu is also mostly on that party. And they'll be coming on Sunday for the Rath Yatra and a few other sannyasis. And he was, in 1973, I think it was his grandmother or somebody in his family passed away and left him an inheritance. It was maybe, I don't know how much it was, 10,000, 20,000 pounds, a lot of money in those days. So he volunteered to donate that money to finance the Rath Yatra festival. So Shyamasundar Prabhu, our GBC, he was very busy spending the 20,000, whatever it was. In those days you had a checkbook. Nobody would check to see if there was any money in the account. You write the check, they give you the product. And fortunately, he spent about twice as much as the money which was in the bank, which Mahavishnu Maharaj donated. And a huge overdraft, or let's say debt with the bank was accrued. Anyway, that's a sideline topic, but Mahavishnu Swami was very, very busy. He used to build the Rath cart. He used to build it with others, of course. He and Sambor and others, they were a little bit expert at that. They built the cart, fabulous cart, and so many things. They had the council, the London council, were not informed exactly. They said, we're just going to put up a couple of little tents, a few small tents on the square, nothing much, like normal. They covered almost the whole square with these latest state-of-the-art fancy tents, and they hammered big metal bolts into the ground. They smashed the cement, and so many things, all illegally done. We're just going to light a few candles on the stage. A big fire yajna took place on the stage. We're just going, no problems. The cart's not very big. It was so big it knocked over the bollards in these things that they stop cars going in. Smash those. So many things were there. Our Rath Yatra was banned for that, I don't know how long, maybe a decade in Trafalgar Square after this festival. It was a gorgeous festival, that's a fact. Prabhupada was there. He danced. The most famous part of this festival, as far as the devotee community is concerned, was that Prabhupada, he wasn't in very good health, but when he reached Trafalgar Hyde Park corner, which was where, then it started in Marble Arch, now it starts in Hyde Park. Marble Arch, Prabhupada's Vyasam was there on this gorgeous chariot, thousands of people had gathered, and Prabhupada didn't sit on the Vyasasam. There was only one chariot in those days. So Prabhupada didn't sit on the Vyasasam, and he decided to walk. But he didn't just walk, he danced the whole way. It wasn't like he was spinning around, but his hands were up and he would sometimes jump and sway backwards and forwards like this. And the crowd was just going wild. The devotees, hundreds of devotees gathered around Prabhupada for the kirtan. Thousands of Indian people were there and thousands of Westerners were there too. One of the features of the Rath Yatras in the 70s, both in England and in America, was that the majority of the crowd were Westerners, white people. You see the early pictures. I was looking at San Francisco Rath Yatra this morning, when it's happening. And in 1970s, 99% of the parade would be all Westerners. Very few Indian people, because there weren't many then in San Francisco. No. Now it's all. What's happening here? There we go. He sussed it out. We have a new system now, very high tech. We have this latest invention. The curtains come out and winding and pulling, getting up to date. So you'll see on the parade it was, all Western boys and girls. Now you look on the San Francisco parade, there's hardly one Westerner. 99% Indian devotees, no problem. But where have all the white ones gone? I don't know. They used to come, and Trafalgar Square, there were a lot more people used to come then. I told the devotees in Leicester, more people came then than they do now. The square would be packed, you couldn't see the floor. And not 99%, but maybe 60, 70% in London, Westerners in the square. All stood there, sitting there, or whatever they're doing. But this year the square was covered with, not covered, but mostly covered with tents. And phenomenal prasadam, huge arrangements to cook masses of prasadam. Huge amounts, like a 12-course feast, all kinds of preps. Same problem we have now, some of the preparations went off because of heat. And it wasn't properly preserved, but mostly it was okay. And the parade was phenomenal. The police couldn't control the crowds because in London, it's busy city, and it goes right down very, very busy roads, Park Lane, and then along past Green Park there, Piccadilly, along Piccadilly. Very, very busy roads. I mean, some of the busiest roads in London. I think the first year that they did Ratha Yatra in London was 1969. They had no temple. And they had a kind of a Rath car, a little bit odd looking Rath car, but they had a Rath car, and I wasn't there. Nonetheless, they had a Rath car. And the Ratha Yatra car was at Marble Arch, and then after about 100 meters or so, the Rath car collapsed. The wheels fell off. It wasn't strong enough to hold the chariot. Are you leaving now, Baladev? Have you got some prasadam? No. Make sure he gets lots of prasadam for the journey. Fill him up. Thank you, Prabhu. You're such a surrendered soul. Hare Krishna. What time are you coming back?
Before 7, before 5, I think, I hope.
You hope to get back before 5.
Yeah.
So as far as the books are concerned, Ekanath is aware.
Okay.
So we'll send a message afterwards, and he'll probably leave the books. You get to those that will help. Don't worry. Outside the book room, if he's not. If
The
they're,
BBT house,
you know the BBT book room?
house?
A-
In the guest house?
No, Nitai Sachi Suta's ACV book room. You know that place? That new building next to Padmanetra?
Yeah.
Yeah,
BBT
outside
house.
of there.
Yes. Okay.
They'll be either in or out. It depends. Nitai Sachi Suta's going out.
Everything will be set.
Everything will be ready.
Oh, very good.
Okay.
Excuse me.
Huh?
Excuse me to disturb your...
Not at all. This is all part of Ratha Yatra. Thank you.
Thank
Hare
you, Maharaj.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Okay, so we, where were we?
London.
I know, where were we in London? Busy streets? Busy streets, huh? Busy streets. So they give half of the street for the we were going back to 69 first. On the 1969 Ratha Yatra, the chariot collapsed, the wheels collapsed. The vehicle was stuck in the middle of the road. They carried Jagannath, Baladev and Subhadra to Trafalgar Square by hand. They both carried the deities. The chariot was stuck there for about, I think, 8 to 10 hours. It was the biggest traffic jam in London's history, because the whole road was blocked for about 8 hours. There was traffic jams for miles around in the centre of London in every direction. It was right, this road is like the major inner city crossroads, It was stuck right there all day. What to do? Anyway, they did it. And in 73, the road was again blocked because Prabhupada was dancing so ecstatically along Piccadilly particularly, which is an extremely busy road. And the crowd was just pouring out onto the other side of the road. The vehicles, the buses and the cars couldn't pass by. And the police were constantly coming up, or regularly coming up. And the Shruti Kirti, Prabhu, who's coming in a week or so, no, less than that, 5 days, he was Prabhupada's servant. So they came up and they said, "Can you tell the old man to stop dancing? It's creating chaos. Chaos." As the crowd was spilling and everyone was dancing. In Shruti Kirti, he said he would go over and Srila Prabhupada, they want you to stop dancing, Prabhupada. And Prabhupada looked at him as if he was an alien and just carried on dancing. He never stopped for a moment, No one could do anything. It was like chaos in the city. So the whole thing was, the police were freaked out, the Westminster Council were freaked out, and of course we had to wait. I don't know how many years I was away from the country during that time mostly. No, it wasn't. But I mean, it didn't go on into Trafalgar Square for quite a long time. I can't remember how long. Many years, maybe a decade more. And then eventually they managed to get back the permit to have it in Trafalgar Square again, as it is now. So there's some not highlights. I mean, Prabhupada's dancing was the highlight, and then the big festival on Trafalgar Square. Prabhupada gave initiations and lectures and everything on the square, dramas and kirtans. I missed pretty much the whole parade because one of the features of that is that they printed this fabulous magazine. It was one of the most you know that magazine we have, I don't know what it is, it was printed on the centenary or something of Prabhupada, centenary, I don't know what it was, something or another. Or I don't know, anyway, it was one printed by Mahaprabhu in Belgium. It's Hare Krishna, I don't know what it is. Very glossy magazine, we have it here. Very glossy with all of the things of ISKCON all over the world inside. What's it called? I don't know.
You want one?
No, well, no, it was just like that. It was a super opulent, glossy magazine.
Okay.
Cost a lot of money. So we printed, I don't know, 5,000 or something of these for distribution on the parade. So I was one of the devotees selected to distribute on the parade. So I was distributing these the whole way. I didn't see anything of the parade. They weighed about half a kilo each, these magazines. So you can, like 2 book bags either side, you know, they're like, you know, 40 in each bag, you know. Like, initiative to distribute the magazines because they were so heavy, you know. Anyway, we were doing that, but we missed it. We only hear, like you do, the reports of this amazing parade devotees. You can read them in various places, in the Lilamrita and other places. Of devotees describing the Ratha Yatra, how ecstatic it was. And Sadhuda was leading, and Radha Swami was leading, and Prabhu Vishnu. Different fiery, fantastic kirtan leaders were leading, and you know, anyway, it was almost like the devotees said it more than anything else. Of course, the Chaitanya Charitamrita was not published at that time. 1973, it was not available, but it was almost like a comparison. The kirtan was like that, you know. And so they said. I wasn't on the kirtan. I got left behind. I got stuck in Marble Arch with, you know, in those days, people were very, very challenging. Very challenging. So I got stuck. I was trying to distribute these magazines to some people. A whole bunch of Christians gathered around, and it became a whole circle that hundreds of people were gathered around. It was just like they were going at me, and I was trying to defend or whatever, like this. But I was stuck there for ages trying to get away. But it was like that regularly. You know, when you have a kirtan, any Harinam party, hundreds of people will gather around. In Paris, the same thing. Now they don't. People are not. They're like robots nowadays. Like robots. They just programmed. Huh? Programmed. Then people were, you know, they were really, you know, looking. What's this? They were kind of like middle-aged people, not just youngsters. Middle-aged people gather around. Anything novel, anything different, they gather around. Yeah, they're spoiled, you know, modern society, they would go. But like that, it was so amazing. Amazing festival. So Prabhupada says here, rival to Nelson's column. You've been to Trafalgar Square, you've seen. The car appeared to be newly made of gold. It was as high as Mount Samaru. The decorations on the car, incredible decorations. Have you read about the decorations already? I think you may have. But so maybe the next verses, I don't know. Anyway, somewhere it's described the wonderful, beautiful, all the chamaras and the mirrors and all the colored flags and everything, you know, it's so beautiful. So attractive, this Ratha Yatra festival, isn't it? Everywhere, you have in South America too, right?
Yeah.
Everywhere. Which city are you from?
Oh, in São Paulo we have.
Sao Paulo, you
Rio.
have it in Sao Paulo.
Rio also.
Big,
Yeah.
big city, Sao Paulo, bigger than Paris. Bigger, much bigger. I think one of the 6 top biggest cities in the world. Over 20 million. Huge city. Big Ratha Yatras. Janananda attended some of those, I don't know, in South America. But everywhere Ratha Yatras, almost everywhere, almost every country of the world it's going on somehow or another. Somehow or another it's going on, and even in places like Singapore. They have indoor, they have in a stadium or in a big hall, big kind of events hall or exhibition hall. They have somehow or another they do it. They can't go on the street, they can't do it. Everywhere. Inside, yeah. Many places, not many, quite a few places. I've been to several of these indoor Ratha Yatras. Yeah, because they're not allowed to go on the street. It's a Muslim country or whatever it is. And they do it, somehow or another they do it. Some of the Ratha Yatras going on. We've been on Ratha Yatras, I mentioned before, in Den Haag about 15 years ago. Lord Jagannath didn't turn up. He got caught in a traffic jam between Radhadesh and Den Haag. So we were pulling the Rath car with no Jagannath on the car. Jagannath arrived just as we left. The police were really uptight. We were 1 hour late already and they forced us to start. And then just 5 minutes later, Lord Jagannath arrived. He was in a car all the way on the whole parade till the end, in the car behind. Sometimes these things go on, unusual events. I've been in Ratha festivals, the wheels have collapsed also. In Sydney they collapsed one time. Chariot collapsed. In Sydney they banned, this is in the suburb of Sydney, they banned the Ratha Yatra in Sydney because one lady tried to jump under the wheels, one Indian lady tried to imitate the Vedic system, That doesn't go down in the Western world, those things are not allowed. So they banned the festival and they still, I don't know if they started it again. I don't think they ever got it back again in Sydney. We have to also be careful. Ratha Yatra on Sunday, Paris Ratha Yatra. Wonderful event. Is the car coming from Belgium, Bangladesh? Usually it does. It won't come from London because London carts are going to Leicester this weekend. There's also a big festival in Leicester.
Because in Leicester there's the same day.
Same day. More devotees would have come if it wasn't for that from London. But Leicester's the second biggest Ratha Yatra after London in England. Huge festival. 10,000, maybe 10,000 people on the parade. Leicester's like an Indian city. It's 30% Indian people. Yeah. Well, we can read on unless you want any questions or comments. This is just history, isn't it? Any questions? We read on. Text number 20. Shata shata sucha maradarpane ujvala upare pataka shobhe chandoya nirmala. The decorations, here we go, we get it. The decorations included bright mirrors and hundreds of chamaras, white whisks made of yak tails. On top of the car were a neat and clean canopy and a very beautiful flag. Canopy, that's the cloth around the, the dome. The dome is called a canopy. And it's colours, red, green, colours, yellow, decorations on it, auspicious signs. And on top is a beautiful flag. Sometimes they put a chakra and kalash and things. Next verse. Ghagara kinkinibaje gantara krunita nana chitra patavastre rata vibhushita. The car was also decorated with silken cloth and various pictures. Many brass bells, gongs, and ankle bells rang. Nilaya chadili ishvara vatarupar aradueva techade subhadra haladar. For the pastimes of the Rath ceremony, Lord Jagannath got aboard one car and his sister Subhadra and elder brother Balaram got aboard 2 other cars. Next verse. Panchadasha Dina Ishvara Mahalakshmi Lana Tanva Sangi Krida Kaila Nibite Vishya. For 15 days the Lord had remained in a secluded place with the supreme goddess of fortune and had performed his pastimes with her. Purport. The 15-day period of Anavasara is also called the Brit, in honor of the solitary place where the supreme goddess of fortune lives. After living there a fortnight, Lord Jagannath took permission from the goddess of fortune to leave. So your Nibrit, your place of the goddess of fortune is in that room there. Is that right? Jagannath's in the reception, or library, whatever you call it. He's been in there for now 5 days? Last Sunday, yeah? Well, not 2 weeks. Normally it's 2 weeks, but you have to use common sense, practicality. Difficult for us also time-wise. But normally 2 weeks, the Lord stays there in seclusion with the goddess of fortune. And then, of course, on the Ratha Yatra day, he comes out. We'll hear about that later on. During this period of Anavasara, Lord Chaitanya leaves to Alalanath. This is a local holy place some distance from Puri. He can't bear the separation of Lord Jagannath. And he comes back when the residents of Bengal, who come for the Ras festival, they all come. So when they come, he immediately returns to Puri, some days before Ratha Yatra. Next verse. Tanhara samatilana bhakti sukadite vate chare bahira haila vihara karite. Having taken permission from the goddess of fortune, the Lord came out to ride on the rath car and perform his pastimes for the pleasure of the devotees. So this is a description, I believe, I don't know, I've been here, when he comes out of the temple. Maybe the description's elsewhere, but it's something of a description. Purport. In this connection, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati comments that as an ideal husband, Lord Jagannath remained 15 days in a secluded place with his wife, the supreme goddess of fortune. Nonetheless, the Lord wanted to come out of seclusion to give happiness to his devotees. The Lord enjoys himself in two ways, known as Svakiya and Parakiya. The Lord's conjugal love is in the Svakiya rasa, relates to the regulated principles observed in Dwarka, where the Lord has many married queens. But in Vrindavan, the conjugal love of the Lord is not with his married queens or wives, but with his girlfriends, the gopis. Conjugal love with the gopis is called Parakiya ras. Lord Jagannath leaves the secluded place where he enjoys the company of the supreme goddess of fortune in Svakiya ras, and he goes to Vrindavan, there where he enjoys the Parakiya ras. Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur therefore reminds us that the Lord's pleasure in Parakiya rasa is superior to his pleasure in Svakiya rasa. Maybe this is a little above your heads or not, I don't know. But anyway, we'll see what Prabhupada says further here. In the material world, Parakiya rasa, or loving affairs with unmarried girlfriends, is the most degraded relationship. But in the spiritual world, this type of loving affair is considered the supreme enjoyment. I was just thinking, went through my mind that the Rath festival here goes from, I guess it's a little different starting point this year. It's a few hundred meters different than usual around the corner. I don't know what direction the festival is going in, but I don't know if it still goes through the Indian street or not, does it?
Yes.
It still does, because it's on the other side of it this time. It's near Gardalas this time, the starting point. So it'll have to go backwards and come down again. Okay, so good. So anyways, different starting point. Now that is like the Sri Kshetra, the temple of Lord Jagannath in Puri. And it ends up in Chatlalayal. But it starts off with Fakir Ras. I don't know if there's Fakir Ras there in Châtelet, in La Chapelle. I don't know if they're all very married, they're all married there. And by the time I guess the Châtelet there is the Purakir Ras. Well, I agree with that one. The Châtelet definitely has an element of Parakir Ras down there, huh? Isn't it? Illicit sex life, sex with any, but it's the perverted reflection of the spiritual pastime of the Lord. These words will not show up in the French translation. But what to do? Paris is noted for its, let's say, sexual activities. It's worldwide famous. So this parade from the Sri Kshetra, or the temple of Jagannath, to the Gundicha temple. Gundicha temple represents Vrindavan. The temple of Lord Jagannath represents Kurukshetra or Dwarka. So this is the fulfillment of Radharani's desire when they went to Kurukshetra to see Krishna on the solar eclipse. Krishna book you can read. She wanted Krishna to come back to Vrindavan. Appealing. So this Ratha Yatra is actually, in one sense, the most intimate, most significant of all the manifested pastimes of Krishna's returning to Vrindavan on a Rath car. So, important festival, fulfilling. Our business is to satisfy Radharani, isn't it? Isn't that our business? She's the original guru, you could say. How to bring, guru's business is, whatever it is meant to be, to try to bring pleasure, to reconnect everyone with Krishna and bring pleasure to Krishna. Yes, but in this world, this type of loving affair is considered the supreme. In the spiritual world, rather. In the material world, it's the most degraded. In the spiritual world, it is the most considered the supreme enjoyment. In the material world, everything is but a reflection of the spiritual world, and that reflection is perverted. It's not just a reflection, it's perverted. We cannot understand the affairs of the spiritual world on the basis of our experience in the material world. The Lord's pastimes with the gopis are therefore misunderstood by mundane scholars and word wranglers. The Purakir Rasa of the spiritual world should not be discussed except by one who is very advanced in pure devotional service. The Purakir Rasa in the spiritual world and that in the material world are not comparable. The former is like gold and the latter is like iron. Because the difference between the two is so great, they cannot actually be compared. However, just as a knowledgeable person can easily distinguish gold from iron, one who has the proper realization can easily distinguish the transcendental activities of the spiritual world from material activities. So we can see these same propensities are there in the material world. People want to enjoy sex life, not only with their own husbands or their wives, but with others too. It is very, very prominent. This enjoying tendency. And imitation is there in the material world, but it's perverted reflection, so it's not the real thing. So there's no comparison. It's based upon the basic principle of seeing ourselves in the center as the enjoyer, whereas the actual relationship, because everything belongs to Krishna in simple terms. And one time when Srila Prabhupada was challenged, one Indian gentleman challenged him, as many people do, that, you're Krishna, he's a debaucher. He has, relationships with other people's wives. Of course, this again, as Prabhupada says here, no, they can't understand. It's not quite like that anyway, but it appears like that to the conditioned soul when these pastimes take place in this manifested world. To the mundane mind, it appears like that. So he challenged Prabhupada, and Prabhupada challenged back actually. He said, do you believe that everything belongs to God? Is he the proprietor? I mean, how can you deny that? The Upanishads declare it. It's not just the Bhagavad Gita. The Upanishads declare it. So even if you're not a Vaishnava, if you're following the Vedic path, you can't deny that because they declare it too. That everything belongs to the Supreme. And do you accept, or maybe he didn't, but the point is that Prabhupada said, and Krishna is that Supreme. He is the Supreme. The man was also saying like that because what's the point of saying it otherwise? Prabhupada said, so if everything belongs to God, that means your wife belongs to God. Right? Not you. So who is the debauchee? Prabhupada said, you are the debauchee. You're trying to enjoy what belongs to Krishna. And that's what's happening in this world. Everyone's a debauchee. We may probably say honesty amongst thieves, but we're all thieves. We're all claiming this is mine. This is my wife, my husband, my body. Everybody. So everybody in that sense is a debauchee, not Krishna, because everything is meant for his pleasure. Everything. So we're practicing, the idea is it's a practice of let's say, at least making the endeavor to offer everything to Krishna. Prabhupada said even if young girls, I was reading it this morning, saying that pretty young girls, we should understand, at least the men should understand, that they are meant for the pleasure of Krishna, not for you. Pretty hard, huh? But that's how it should be.
We engaged some pretty young girls yesterday in the chanting of the holy name.
They're meant for Krishna's pleasure. But because we're all in this world, at least the worlds are hopefully some are advancing a little bit beyond it, but mostly people are completely on this platform of seeing themselves in the center. And God is kind of like another entity who's supposed to help you see fulfill your central, if you will, whatever you call desires, isn't it? People pray to him, fulfill my material desires, isn't it? It's the same thing. It's just you trying to use God as an order supplier. It's not love of God at all, not an iota practically. It's a recognition of God, but it's not all understanding of him as such. So most people see it like that, and they judge it like that. They can't go beyond that, unfortunately, at their present state of consciousness. And subject matters like this, even Jiva Goswami emphasized Svikya above Parakya because of various reasons. I mean, there are many references to the many of Krishna's pastimes are not revealed purposely, or aspects of them, because misunderstandings will be there. People will misuse it, just like the Rasa Lila. People misuse this like anything. Krishna did it, why can't I? And some people actually try to imitate it. India, this is sometimes disbelief. In the Western world, unknowingly, people are kind of, maybe not exactly on the same scale, but to some extent, they're imitating this. Dancing with girls in dances and what have you. This goes on. But we only have Krishna. The other thing about this is they say, well, Krishna, and they sometimes say, about Krishna having so many wives also, he's very licentious. Well, most men, they may not think like that, but they would certainly, if the opportunity was there to enjoy, they probably wouldn't turn it down. So many beautiful young ladies. But Krishna may, as we know, we read that he married, many times people challenge that one, 16,108 queens. What is this, What type of God is this? Well, you're right, what type of God is this? He's not an ordinary God. He expanded himself 16,108 times. So each and every wife thought he was with her alone. The same in the Rasa Lila dance. Billions of gopis. Billions, it's unlimited. And Krishna expanded himself equally in each and every one of those, with each and every one of those gopis. So they all thought that Krishna was with me alone. That's another pastime. This is God. Unending. You can question why, but that's God. He's the supreme enjoyer. No end to his enjoyment. No end. And when we assist in that favourable way, then the living entity can be happiest. Why Ratha Yatra is such a significant manifested festival for us, because it's something we can participate in. Kirtan is also, in some, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is also, in his Sankirtan, it's very, it's a reenactment. It's described, I don't know if it's described here somewhere, but Lord Chaitanya, he formed, how many parties were formed? Do you know? 7 altogether. 4 directly by Lord Chaitanya and 3 other groups came in. So 7 parties were there. And each party, Lord Chaitanya was dancing in each party. They saw Lord Chaitanya in their party, but he was in all the parties. And it was like that. It was said it was really like in Gaur Leela. This was actually the Rasa Leela. Lord Chaitanya dancing in these parties, the equivalent of in Gaur Leela. They go on simultaneously. So the Sankirtan movement, the Harinam Sankirtan movement, we shouldn't get carried away with this, but in one sense it is the equivalent of the Rasa Leela and Gaur Leela. It's dancing and chanting together with Krishna in the center. So the dancing, the pulling of the chariot ropes Sunday. Everything going on. Books going out, prasadam going out. Unfortunately this year we won't have some of our key book distributors. Himanshu won't be here this year, Darina won't be here this year, someone else won't be with us, I can't remember who it was. I don't think he was here last year either.
Last year.
But there was someone else, I've forgotten. And we had quite a few from other places here last year. Maybe we'll have a few this year, I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. But there was someone else who was a key. Who won't be able to.
Rasananda Sankirtan?
Rasananda Sankirtan is not with us this year. Yeah. He's in Spain. But we hope that some others will come forward and distribute some books. Oh, and Gopalananda probably won't be with us. He doesn't do books, he does a lot of Tamil books. Are you okay with your things all over the floor?
Yeah, I'll pick it up for you. I'm so attached to getting my SIM card working. I haven't had a SIM card for 3 weeks.
Okay, any questions? So remember this, when you're pulling the Rath car or dancing, this is very intimate, this is the most intimate service, isn't it? Assisting Srimati Radharani in fulfilling her heart's desires. This is Ratha Yatra, that's why it's such an important festival. And everybody even sees the Rath car. They're taking part in this festival. Such a powerful festival. Greatest service. Prabhupada said, by introducing Ratha Yatra festivals in all the cities of the world, and with mass distribution of books, will conquer the world. Because what that means, well, it's interesting concept. Conquer the world, what does it mean? It doesn't mean, we're going to be going to a war or something with spears and shields, bows and arrows. Won't get far. But it means it will change people's hearts. At least the beginning of the change of heart will take place. A seed will have been planted somehow. But probably this is the biggest festival worldwide in our movement, really. Most significant festival. I know people trying to campaign, some people are trying to campaign in Jagannath-puri that everyone should have it on the same day. Very narrow-minded mentality, isn't it? We have no idea of the real meaning of Ratha.
We were advertising the Ratha Yatra in New York, and somebody came up to us and they showed us as the background on their phone a picture of the Rath cart from the previous year. Just not a devotee, just somebody who liked the festival so much he put it on the phone. Background picture.
One impression. We get all walks of life. I mean, Malaysia, which is a Muslim country, we have 30 Rath Yatras a year.
Wow.
On the street. It's the only time we can really, legally speaking, anyway, go out and do public kirtan. Just get permission, they don't mind. All the religions have their parades. So not that strict. And many times we get Muslim people running up and pulling the carts with us, giving donations to Lord Jagannath. He's the Lord of the universe, he's not the Lord of the Hindus. He's definitely not just the Lord of Puri, the Lord of Orissa, the Lord of the universe. How are you going to work that way out on other planets, the same day as in Puri? They have a different time frame, don't they? I know, it's completely illogical, totally illogical. The whole purpose of Lord Chaitanya is to spread the holy names to every town and village of the world. And Lord Jagannath wants to go out all over the universe and give his darshan. He's Jagannath, Lord of the universe. Okay, we'll finish the Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Is the Rath car coming from Belgium?
Oh, yeah, somebody asked me where it was coming from. I didn't know.
It's Janananda Goswami Maharaja Ki
Jai.
We've always talked about having our own Rath car, but maybe in the future. That means we'll have to have Rath Yatra festivals in different cities, not just
Yeah, for sure. Like in Florida, we have 6 Rath Yatras. Yeah. I went to 5 just between January and April. I went to 5 Rath Yatras.
Yeah, many in America, in Australia, many. In Paris, in Delhi, I don't know how many they have. 30 Rath Yatras, I think, in Delhi, one city. Yes. You know how many they have there? That's the fun.
Around 55 or 60.
Really?
60 has gone up since the last time I asked. Around about 60 Rath Yatras in one city in a year. Incredible. Imagine having 60 Rath Yatras in Paris every year. It's one a week.
Actually, Maharaj, now they have it in just 1 week. During 1 week, they have to do the all Rath Yatras because of the objection of.
Oh yes, it's become a problem in India because they have control over it in India. They don't have control in other countries, but in India they do. They have control. Yeah, they always have to do all the Rath Yatras within a period of 1 week. Hundreds all over the country, right?
Yes.
So that means not so many people at each Rath festival. I mean, as far as the devotees themselves are concerned, the regular devotees.
It's more like, every day is a Rath Yatra.
Yeah.
Like for those 9 days, every day is Rath Yatra.
Yeah, but you can't get that. That's only 9 days. You said 50 or 60.
It was 50, 60. Earlier it was like, before, when you can have it.
Any time of year, but now it's like 9 or something. 9 Rath.
Not 9, now it's also like we have 16, 17 temples, so.
Each tower has one.
And plus centers also have their own Rath Yatra.
Okay, so there's 17 temples in Delhi, ISKCON temples, plus many other very big Namahats. I mean, maybe 500 devotees in the Namahat. They also have their local Rath Yatras. Amazing, huh? Wouldn't it be nice if we had that in Paris?
Yes.
Soon, Maharaj, soon.
Soon, very soon. Next year.
And for the cart, we just need the guidance of Mahavishnu Swami to to build the cart. I'm sure.
Well, yeah, he can come
If you
and
stay
do it.
6 months here,
Well, we
it
have-
would be nice.
Yeah. You need more than one cart though, don't you? If you have 3 or 4 on the same day, you need many carts.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
We can have our own Maharaj, but where to keep it? In you have.
The garden land is the problem.
They have, Parashuram has a chariot which you can fold up. kind of folds, and your wheels go up. There are chariots which you can make which fold into a small ship, small size. I don't know if they have these folding chariots. It's not big like, in London or something, but it's practical. Get it on the back of a small truck, a small open back truck. That's what I would do. If we were going to do anything, I'm not going to do anything. Something you can drive very easily on the back of a truck without getting all the legal permissions. You can drive it on the highway. It's not so big. I don't know why big. And you can go everywhere. Wherever you get permit. Okay, I know you're just looking for a new project. This is not much money. Getting bored. You're getting bored. There's nothing much going on anymore. You're getting bored. Everything's going by clockwork. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.